Let's talk about tips for giving an examination under oath. Sometimes, when you have an insurance claim, the insurance company will send you a long letter asking to take your examination under oath. And what they are asking for is they are asking you to essentially give a deposition. And this is where you'll go to an office, sometimes a lawyer's office, and a lawyer hired by the insurance company will ask you questions under oath relating to your insurance claim. Now, this can be a normal part of the insurance process, at least in some claims. I see it a lot, especially in connection with fire claims, but it doesn't have to be a fire claim. Now, when you get a request for an examination under oath, you do have a duty to cooperate under your insurance policy. And so, usually, you will need to give your examination under oath and answer questions by the insurance company's attorney. However, here are some tips that might help you out. Of course, these are not legal advice, and every situation can be different. So, if you do have an examination under oath, you might want to speak to an attorney also. First, when you go to the examination under oath, and beforehand, when you're setting things up, don't be rude. Make sure that you're polite. Try to be businesslike in both your correspondence back and forth and when you ultimately show up. Part of this is good because it will just make sure that the person you're dealing with is more receptive. But the other part of this is all of this information is going to be recorded, and you want to make sure that you're putting forth the best, most polite version of yourself. You'll generally get better results that way. Now, if the examination under oath requests a date that is not a good date for you, you do have a right to request another date that is convenient for you. Try to be reasonable in this request, but you don't have to do it on the date the insurance company says if that date does not work for you. Third, you have the right to be represented by an attorney at the examination under oath. You don't have to, but oftentimes it can be a good idea. Fourth, do your best to gather the documents requested by the insurance company. As I mentioned, you do have a duty to cooperate, and with a request for an examination under oath, there will be a long list of documents that you will need to gather. It's usually a good idea to gather these documents. And one good thing to think about is that many of these requests can seem very intrusive. Unfortunately, there's some reasons why the insurance company may have a right to ask for them. For instance, if they have a fire case and they're suspecting arson, then they might ask for things like various financial records. And it may be that they don't suspect arson, but they're just trying to rule it out. You don't necessarily know going in, but you might get some requests for documents. You want to try to do a good job of gathering together, take reasonable efforts to gather together the information that they request. Now, when you are asked to look at a document, you want to make sure that you, and this is in the examination note, when you're asked to look at a document, make sure that you review it and have a chance to read it carefully before you answer any questions about it. When you are before the examination under oath, try to prepare for the examination under oath. And so, what the insurance company will be asking you about in general, and every case can be a little bit different, would be where you were at the time of the loss, when you first found out about it, who contacted you, what your financial condition was, the value of the items that you claim were lost or destroyed, any support that you have that you had these items. Those are some of the categories. And if you have documents that you've produced, make sure that you're familiar with all of them and review all of the documents that you have that might refresh your memory about the date of the loss and the items that you were claiming. Also, dress nicely but not flashy. You want to try to dress maybe like you would to go to church, if you go somewhere where you at least, where you're wearing like a button down, if you're a gentleman, a button down shirt and some dressier pants. If you're a lady, a dress or pantsuit, but it doesn't have to be anything super formal or super fancy. Probably shouldn't be super formal or super fancy. When you get into the examination under oath, you are going to be getting some questions, and some of these may make you feel uncomfortable, but try to remain polite and calm and breathe throughout the deposition. In other words, if you get a question and it may make you a little bit tense or anxious or defensive, this is normal. Try to take a deep breath in through your nose and give yourself time to kind of measure your reaction and calm down a little bit. Now, make sure that you tell the truth. You're going to be under oath. It's always a good idea to tell the truth, but here again, you're under oath. Make sure you tell the truth in your examination under oath. And then one last point is don't guess. If you are asked a question and you don't know the answer to it, own up to saying I don't know, or own up to that you don't remember it. And if that's the truth, then those are going to be better than taking a guess. Sometimes if you're asked to give an estimate, you can do that, but make it clear that you're only giving an estimate. We want to make sure the record accurately reflects your accurate knowledge. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that helps you understand the examination under oath process. As always, feel free to reach out if you have any questions.